All right, good Friday evening, everybody. It's been a while, but that's okay. There's been lots and lots and lots of baseball on here. Tonight we go to Game 3, the 1907 Cubs and the 1894 Orioles. The Cubs holding a 2-game to nothing lead. The Cubs have been absolutely dominant throughout this entire series, and looking to take another one from Baltimore. We go to Chicago for this one for the middle 3 games. This is a best of 7 if it goes that long. So Chicago pitching has been dominant, and Baltimore, who's had a very, very explosive offense, has not been able to put it together against these Cubbies. So the Orioles looking for a little bit of the thunder and lightning that they had against the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. And let's get underway. So coming up on this channel, not a lot, really. When this is over, going back to the 1934 replay, the decades teams, just all kinds of stuff and things. So, yep. So hope you guys enjoy, and you catch it on the flip side. Yep. So I can always count on Cousin Ken Castro, at least, with all the other modern baseball going on, to come in and hang out with me for a little bit. So do appreciate it, cousin. I know I've been broadcasting a lot less. I just, with my time, I can't compete with everybody now doing all this other stuff. So figure, just do a game when I can. So, but it is the 1894 Orioles and the 1907 Chicago Cubs. We're coming to you today from Westside Park, the home of the Cubs before what we would know as Wrigley Field. And again, the Orioles trying to put together some thunder and lightning the same way they did against the 1885 Chicago White Stockings, and it's just not happening for these Orioles. So, but look for some baseball more and some other stuff here on this channel as I sort of try to navigate the broadcast schedule of everybody. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of great baseball, but got to keep it up here for old-time baseball in this channel. So, that being said, let's get rid of this little advert card, and let's get to the game. All right. And let's switch this to this. Boop. And there we go. It's good to see you, cousin. All right. So let's do this for Chicago. And it's going to be Ed Rohlbach tonight. Ed Rohlbach against Bert Lynx in Game 3. Thank you, cousin. Good to see you, too. The hardcore faithful. That's why I always say you are the heart and soul of this channel. All right, let's look at the starting defense for the 1907 Chicago Cubs. Welcome to Westside Park in Chicago. It is a chilly day, 47 degrees clear, and the winds are 7 miles per hour in from right center field. Baseball stories by Dryden and Cy in the Tribune this year. Make sure to get your Tribune for your daily baseball news by Cy and Dryden. We'll give Cy first billing here. All right, in left field, it is Jimmy Sheckard. In center, Jimmy Schlegel. In right, Solly Hoffman, who is rated at just about every position except pitcher and catcher. At first base, Frank Chance. At second, Johnny Evers. At short, Joe Tinker. At third, Harry Steinfeld. Catching, Johnny Kling. And taking the mound and pitching, big Ed Rohlbach. Ed Rohlbach has a 1.00 earned run average in this series, or in this tournament. He has 2 wins, no losses. He works 27 innings, has walked 6, and struck out 11. We are ready to get underway. Both of these teams loaded, but the Achilles heel has finally caught up with these Baltimore Orioles, and it seems to be the pitching. We have a over capacity crowd here at Westside Park today. You can see the fans sitting out on the field. They're behind the rope. They're in the dugouts. They're everywhere, even off in the building. So it happened at Westside Park as it did in Wrigley Field in the early days as well. Chicago, a great baseball town. And let's get under it. Hey, there's PQ River. That's right, I'm a stranger too. Yeah, I heard they did. I didn't check the score last night, but good stuff. Good stuff. She switched to the Phillies game just in time. Blood pressure rising. Yikes. Yeah, it's. I haven't been on either, PQ. Just so many people broadcasting now. I just don't want to broadcast on other people. So, yeah, there we go. All right, Joe Kelly. And anyhow, it's good to see you, buddy. Very good to see you. Joe Kelly leads it off with a 377 average, 12 runs batted in for the Hall of Famer. Ed Rulbach, ready to deal. And Kelly swings. This one a chopper to second, Evers to chance, and we're underway out number one. John McGraw having a disappointing tournament, hitting just 211 with 9 runs batted in. Rulbach winds and delivers the 0-2 pitch. Fastball. McGraw hops this one to Steinfeld at third, throws across the diamond in plenty of time to Frank Chance to get Little Napoleon for out number 2. Dan Bruthers now. Bruthers having a great tournament, but not putting it together here. A 340 average, 348 average, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Ed Rulbach has the sign from Kling. He winds and deals the 0-2 fastball. Bruthers lines this one up the middle for a base hit past Johnny Evers. Slego gets the ball in, and Dan Bruthers aboard. Bruthers with 39 steals in 1894 or 38 steals for Ned Hanlon's Orioles. Wee Willie Keeler now. Keeler hitting 296 with 8 runs batted in. Rulbach throws over Bruthers, safe ahead of the Frank Chance tag. Thank you again for coming in to Beatles Eternally channel, folks and family, the home of old-time baseball on YouTube. All right, Rulbach deals now the 3-1 pitch, and he hits Wee Willie Keeler. So 2 on for the Orioles. Can they capitalize on this gift from Ed Rulbach? Steve Brody steps in, the center fielder, hitting .333 with a home run and 12 runs batted in. Rulbach delivers the 0-2 to Steve Brody. Fastball, and this one line to right, base hit. Solly Hoffman up with it. Rounding third is Dan Bruthers. He will come in to score. And Baltimore tallies one here in the top of the first. So with 2 aboard and 2 down, here's shortstop Huey E.A. Jennings. Joe Kelly at second. Steve Brody at first. Jennings hitting .296 with 4 runs batted in. Game 3 of this KCCL World Series. Rulbach with a 2-0 delivery to Jennings. Fastball swung on. This one a 2-hopper to Tinker. Tinker will throw down to Chance to take care of Huey Jennings and the Baltimore Orioles. So at the end of 1/2 inning, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Baltimore Orioles 1 and the Chicago Cubs coming to bat. Checking out the defense here for the Baltimore Orioles. In left field, Joe Kelly. In center, Steve Brody. And right, Wee Willie Keeler. From first to third, around the horn, Dan Bruthers, Heine Reitz, Huey Jennings, John McGraw. Catching, Wilbert Robinson. And pitching, Bert Inks. Inks, 2 wins, no losses with a 4.50 earned run average in this tournament. 18 innings pitched, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. Leading off here, the player manager of the Chicago Cubs, Frank the Peerless Leader Chance. 267 average with 4 runs batted in for Frank. Inks winds and deals. The lefty's 1-2 pitch. Change up, and this one scorched to right, base hit. No way Reitz was going to catch up to that little bullet. So Speedy Frank Chance aboard, looking at his steal totals, 35. And brings up Solly Hoffman in right field today. Solly's been splitting his time between the bench, right field, and shortstop. So Hoffman hitting .292 with 2 runs batted in. Chance a good lead off first. Inks checks the runner, peers in, has the sign, throws over. Frank Chance back easily. Too crafty a base runner to get caught that easily. Chance into his lead now. Inks deals. And there goes Frank Chance, and their hit and run was on. And a great diving stop by Dan Bruthers grabs the ball, races Hoffman to first for the out. Frank Chance will move to second on the play. So a little unintentional sacrifice. Frank Chance, the tying run in scoring position for the 1907 Cubs. And here comes catcher Johnny Kling, and he's been having a good series. 372 average with 10 runs batted in. And Bert Lynx peers over his left shoulder, checks the speedy Chance, looks in, and is ready to deal. The 1-1 pitch, Chance, a good lead off second. Kling swings, and this one, a little blooper to right, and up with it is Steve Brody, and they're going to hold Chance at third. So runners at the corners, one down. Often wonder how a player manager sends himself signals, but there you go. All right, here is Jimmy Sheckard hitting .211 with a home run. He is batted in 6. Inks works from the stretch, the full count on Jimmy Sheckard. Spitball, and the spitball misses. And the bases are loaded with Chicago Cubs, just one down for Jimmy Schlegel. Jimmy having a rather poor tournament, hitting just 128 with 1 run batted in. So Frank Chance and the other Cubbies would like Schlegel to get something going right now with these bases loaded. From the stretch, in the 3-1 pitch to Schlegel, and Schlegel chopper to third. McGraw will go to Reitz on the pivot to Bruthers, and Inks pitches himself out of an absolute mess. The Chicago Cubs leave him loaded, and we go to the top of the second inning. And it's Baltimore 1, Chicago nothing. PQ, I hope you've been doing well. It's been a while. Yep, crazy times for all. It sure has been with this heat and everything else. All right. Wilbert Robinson leads it off here. Robinson hitting .328 with a home run and 12 runs batted in. Rolbach deals the 1-0 delivery. Fastball swung on, line to right, and right into the glove of Sully Hoffman. 1 up, 1 down here for Baltimore in the top of the second for second baseman Heine Reitz. Reitz with a .304 average, 14 runs batted in. Big Ed Rolbach kicks and fires the 1-1 pitch. Fastball. Fly ball left field. Sheckard ranging back, and he will glove it for out number 2. Bert Inks hitting .333 with a run batted in. Strides to the plate. He also has a run scored in this tournament. Rolbach deals now the 1-0 pitch. Inks swings. Hard grounder to Tinker. Plenty of time. And Tinker to Chance. So the Baltimore Orioles go 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. And it's Baltimore 2, Chicago, or Baltimore 1, Chicago nothing. Harry Steinfeld, Johnny Evers, and Joe Tinker will bat. And there is Bernard Strom talking about old-time baseball on YouTube. Bernard has been doing a 1912 Red Sox replay in Action PC Baseball. Also doing 1950 on PC Replay, and I guess offline doing a 1918 with the Red Sox. So Bernard doing some old-time baseball on the YouTubes. All right, here we go. Harry Steinfeld will lead it off. Bert Inks pitched himself out of a bases-loaded situation. Here is the wind in the pitch, the 0-1. Fastball swung on, hard grounder back to the mound. Inks gloves it and fires onto Dan Bruthers to retire Steinfeld by about 3 feet. So 1 away here. Johnny Evers now. The Crab hitting .270 with 4 runs batted in. Inks brings it home. Evers swings. Hard grounder, diving stop by McGraw. Strong peg from the knees onto Dan Bruthers. And Johnny Evers is out. So 2 up, 2 down now for these Cubs, who managed to load him last inning and got nothing done. Joe Tinker hitting .167, 2 runs batted in for the Chicago shortstop. The Southpaw Inks deals the 3-1 pitch, and Tinker misses. Or Tinker takes ball 4, so on that count, we get the walk. All right, here's Big Ed Rolbach. 0 for 9 in this entire series. Rolbach in there more for that arm. Inks with the 0-1. Robach swings, and this one scorched to left. Base hit. McGraw not able to hold on to the ball, and they will score that one an error. So 2 Cubs aboard, 2 down. Inks doesn't want to flirt too much with doing things like loading bases and trying to pitch out of it. Not against this absolutely dominant Chicago Cubs team of 1907, who would defeat the Tigers in the World Series. Back at the top of the order now for the West Siders, and Frank Chance, who singled his last time up. Inks deals to him. Here's the pitch. And this one grounded hard to short, and Jennings will go to Heine Reitz. And that retires the Cubs. So the Cubs get nothing. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. It's still 1-0 in favor of the Orioles. Big JH99. He is the founder of the Crystal Theater. So there we go. Getting a little bit of trivia, and welcome in. So Bert Inks is apparently the founder of the Crystal Theater, according to Big JH99. So welcome in, man. All right, back to the game here, and we're back at the top of the order for the Baltimore Orioles, and Joe Kelly, who is 0 for 1. He grounds it to second back in the 1st. Robach with the signs and the 2-2 delivery. Kelly, swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Robach. The fastball getting in there. So 1 down here for John McGraw. John McGraw has been plagued with errors throughout this entire tournament, and not doing a lot at the bat. As of this at bat, a 208 average. His last time up, he grounded to 3rd. Big Ed deals to Little Napoleon, the 3-1. And this one missing up high, up around the shoulders. And in the strike zone of the day, that would be called a just missing high. So John McGraw aboard. And McGraw, the speediest member of this Baltimore team, 78 steals in 1894. And here's Dan Bruthers, 1 for 1. So singled his last time up. I'd look for a possible hit and run here or a straight steal. Robach checks the runner, and the 1-2. The runner does not go. Bruthers swings, base hit up the middle. McGraw rounding second, and he will hold right there. So Baltimore with 2 on and 1 out. John McGraw at second. Dan Bruthers at first for Wee Willie Keeler. Wee Willie steps in, lefty against the big righty Ed Robach, who checks the runners. Bruthers, no slow coach there at first either, with 38 steals, so a lot of speed right now on the base paths for the 1894 Orioles. Robach deals the 2-0 to Wee Willie Keeler. Fastball swung on, grounded to second. It's going to be Ever to Tinkers, but no throw to Chance. So the fielder's choice erases the lead runner, or erases the middle runner. 2 down. John McGraw at third, Wee Willie Keeler at first. And Steve Brody has the other hit, and it was an RBI single that scored Dan Bruthers. That was back in frame number 1. The lefty waits for the Robach delivery out of the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch to Steve Brody. Brody swings, hard grounder to Tinker, and he will go to Johnny Evers, and that retires the side, and it runs 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's the Orioles 1 and the Cubs nothing. BJH says Frank Chance played for the Cubs when they were first known as the Chicago Orphans. Yes, he did. Big Dan Bruthers, 1/2 of the Big Wee connection. So Big JH 99 knowing his old-time baseball, and that's what we certainly welcome here. All right, here is Solly Hoffman. The number 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Chicago Cubs. Hoffman, Kling, and Shuckard. Solly grounded to first last time. Bert Inks with the 1-0 delivery. Fastball swung on. And this one, ranging to his right, second baseman Heine Reitz makes the off-balance throw onto Dan Bruthers for out number 1. Johnny Kling has a hit in as many tries. Single to right center back in the 1st. Bert Inks into the windup and a 3-0 delivery, and this one missing. Kling was taken all the way on that pitch. So a runner on, Johnny Kling with just 9 steals, so one of the slower-footed Cubbies. Jimmy Shuckard now. He walked back in the 1st. One of 3 walks issued by the Baltimore twirler. And the target is set by Wilbert Robinson. Inks throws over, and Kling back safely, just a very conservative lead by Johnny Kling at first. Bert Inks brings it home now. The 0-2, Jimmy Sheckard. This one lined up the middle, base hit, and going all the way to third on the play will be Johnny Kling. He didn't even stop to look, and that one hit just a shallow center. So gutsy play there by Johnny Kling, turning on the all cylinders of the Chalmers automobile. Brody out there with excellent range and an excellent arm. Runners at the corners now for the Cubs, potential tying run just 90 feet away for center fielder Jimmy Slagle. Grounded into a double play back in the first. Inks from the stretch in the 3-1 delivery. Slagle swings, and this one grounded to Reitz, to Jennings with a hard slide by Jimmy Sheckard. Is it going to break up that double play? Johnny Kling will come in to score, and the Chicago Cubs tied here in the bottom of the third. We're now at 1-1. Cubs leading this series 2-0. We started this way back in January, late January, I believe, and here we are in August, and hope to finish it hopefully this week. Probably have another game tomorrow afternoon. Do the best I can, but again, with a lot of people broadcasting, I don't like to step on people. So, all right. 1 on, 2 down, 1 in for Harry Steinfeld, who grounded back to Bert Inks back in the second. Inks checks Jimmy Slagle. Slagle with 28 steals for the Cubs in 1907. Here's the pitch. Steinfeld swings, base hit right field, and up with his wee Willie Keeler rounding second, and going for 3 is Jimmy Slagle. Here's the throw, the tag by McGraw. He is safe and on the play. Harry Steinfeld moves to second, so 2 in scoring position for the Cubs. 1 in for Johnny the Crab Evers, the second baseman, grounded to third back in the second. Cubs looking to break it open here. Inks from the stretch in the 0-2 to Johnny Evers. Evers cuts on this one. Hard ground ball to second. Heine Reitz with plenty of time. Sets and fires onto Dan Bruthers to retire the side. But 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on. We have played 3 here at Westside Park in Chicago, Illinois. We are knotted at 1. This must be before Bert Inks got traded to Louisville Colonels midway through 1894. There's Steve Tate. Welcome in, Steve. Steve he's doing other things in his channel that I cannot blaspheme and talk about, but Steve is working on a Major League Baseball all-time greats franchise, so he's making some progress on it. So do tune into that. He did that a couple days ago, or yesterday, I believe it was. So always looking forward to seeing the fruits of Steve Tate's amazing work. Just amazing work. Ken Castro said, I believe the Orphans were among the first to spend spring training in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the brainchild of the great but shifty Albert Spalding. Albert Spalding, who would keep a gong in his special box seat at the ballpark to summon his servants in the best Downton Abbey style. All right, Huey Jennings, Wilbert Robinson, and Heine Reitz due up here for the Baltimore Orioles, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. So Jennings grabbing a stick of ash, standing on the right side of the box. He grounded to short back in the first. Ed Rollbach winds and deals the count full on Huey Jennings, and Jennings guessing incorrectly on that pitch. So Rollbach picks up the strikeout, his second of the contest. 1 down, and here is Wilbert Robinson. He lined to right back in the second inning. Rollbach deals the 0-2 pitch. Robinson, hard grounder to first. Frank Chance doesn't even have to wave off. Ed Rollbach just takes it, goes right to the bag. So you guys will have to check. Anybody interested in the Shanks League, don't know anything about it, when it's going to happen. I know there were some rule changes, so I'm not involved this time, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. It's going to be very different this time. Games won't actually be played. The season will be simmed. So check with Big Clue or Steve Tate, if you're a member of one or both Discords, for the next iteration of the Howie Shanks League. All right, Heine Reeds is nothing for one. He flied to deep left center back in the second. Kling sets the target. Rulbach with the twirl, the 2-0 fastball. This one blooped to right, base hit. Sully Hoffman up with it. Reitz makes the wide turn at first and holds. So 2 down for the pitcher Bert Inks, who grounded to short in the second. Rulbach comes home with it now. Inks, pitch out, nothing going. So Heine Reeds holding first base, and let's look at his stolen base total, just 18 in 1894, so one of the slower-footed Baltimore Birds here. Rulbach brings it to Inks, throws over, and Heine Reeds back ahead of the Frank Chance tag. Rulbach deals once again. Here's the 1-0 delivery. And Inks smacks this one to right field. Hoffman up with it, and Reitz will make third on the play. So good contact on the ball there by the pitcher, Bert Inks. All right, striding to the plate now. We're back at the top of the order for the Baltimore Orioles and Joe Kelly. Kelly, nothing for 2. He's grounded to second and struck out. Baltimore looking for more here, but 2 away. Rulbach works from the stretch. Kelly, first pitch swing, hard ground ball back to Rulbach. Quickly off the mound, pouncing on the horsehide, and fires it across to Frank Chance for out number 3. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. And we go to the bottom of inning number 4. These teams are tied at 1. Dwayne Martz coming in. Dwayne Martz doing a Braves-Cardinals game, 1961, earlier in his APA replay in concert with Digital Diamond Baseball. As Big JH99 continues, Big Ed Rulbach was part of the first Chicago Cubs team in 1908 that won a World Series until 2016. Yep, 24 games, 1908. Very, very, very great pitcher. Not quite Hall of Fame, but close. All right. And Aaron Reed says that his, welcome in Aaron, that his Reds have dropped, 4 straight? Oh my goodness. Okay. So Steve Tate says that for the Shanks League, they need more folks to join, that there are 6 right now. So do sign up, guys. This is something that doesn't require any commitment beyond a draft night. All right, here is Joe Tinker. We'll go to Tinker, Rulbach, and then Frank Chance. So the 8, 9, and 1 hitters do up. Joe Tinker coaxed a walk back in the second. Bert Inks has walked 3 in this game, has yet to strike out a batter. The lefty deals the 1-2 pitch. Tinker swings. A hard hit grounder to first base, and Bruther gloves it and gingerly steps on the bag for out number 1. At Rulbach now, he is 0 for 1 in the game and 0 for 10 in the tournament. Inks deals to his mound opponent the 1-2 pitch. And base hit, first hit for Ed Rulbach in the tournament, and it's a clean single up the middle. So the Cubbies now with the go-ahead run on first, and we're back at the top of the order, and Frank Chance. Frank Chance is singled and grounded to short. Inks checks the runner. The 1-1 pitch to the peerless leader. Change-up. This one bounced to third. McGraw to Reitz, but there will be a late throw to first. They do not get Frank Chance. So 2 down on the fielder's choice. Frank Chance now at first for Sully Hoffman. He is nothing for 2, grounded out twice. Chance could take off for second, but they're going to try to keep him honest as Reitz tosses over to Dan Bruthers. Chance back ahead of the tag. Inks brings it home. Here's the 2-0 to Sully Hoffman. This one bouncer to short, and Huey Jennings, a diving stop. That one definitely would have been extra bases. Might have even scored Frank Chance, but as it is, it retires the side and runs 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. 4 in the books here at Westside Park, and we're knotted at 1. Big JH saying Tinker left the Cubs and went to the Reds, but he came back and became a player manager of the Chicago Cubs in 1916. Of course, Joe Tinker and Johnny Evers, a feud that lasted for many, many seasons. The one thing that was amazing about these Chicago Cubs of the 19 aughts is they really didn't like each other a lot. They weren't friendly with one another. Much like a lot of dead ball teams, there wasn't the camaraderie that you might think have happened, or in this so-called innocent age. It was anything but. What a rough and tumble game this one was. Dead ball era, love it. All right, John McGraw will lead it off here, followed by Dan Bruthers and Wee Willie Keeler. So McGraw looking to go sub 200 here. McGraw has grounded to third and walked. Ed Rulbach has struck out 2 and walked 1. Big Ed deals the 0-1 to McGraw. Curveball swung on and base hit. Slagle can't hold on to it. In center field, bobbles the ball, and John McGraw will get to the Keystone sack on that one. So the Cubbies pick up an error. John McGraw gets a single, and then the E8. So the go-ahead run for Baltimore now at second base in scoring position. Dan Bruthers a perfect 2 for 2 today. 2 singles. Throw back. John McGraw is back in time. Johnny Evers rushing in behind him, unable to get the tag down in time. Good move by Ed Rulbach to second. Doesn't deter McGraw, though. Good lead off of second as the 1-2 comes to Dan Bruthers now. And Bruthers cuts and misses. So Ed Rulbach hangs up K number 3, 1 out. McGraw remains at second as Big JH continues with Cubs. We must have a definite Cubs historian here. He says Hoffman's nephew Bobby went on to become a famous Major League Baseball player in his own right with the Giants. And John DFW, happy Friday. So Big JH, thank you very, very much for all the great Cubs trivia here that you're sending us, and even a little bit about these Orioles. Really appreciate it. All right. Bruthers with the breeze, says Aaron Reed. All right. Runner on second, 1 out for Wee Willie. He is nothing for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the first and then grounded out in the third. Rulbach deals the count 2-2 on Wee Willie Keeler. Fastball. This one bounced to second. Evers to chance for out number 2. And on the play, John McGraw moves to third. Steve Brody will try to get John McGraw in if he can get a safe hit off of Ed Rulbach. And he is 1 for 2. RBI single back in the first inning. Rulbach from the stretch in the 1-1 pitch. Brody swings. Grounder to third. Steinfeld on to Frank Chance. And Baltimore goes relatively quietly. And we go to the top of the 5th. We are still knotted at 1. Indeed, John McGraw, long time manager of the New York Giants. And what a superb manager he is. Said it before, some of the highest praise that came to John McGraw came from a man who disliked him very, very much, and that was Connie Mack. Connie Mack said during the time that there was one manager in baseball, and that was Mr. McGraw. So, and Connie Mack did not like John McGraw as a person, but if you think about it, John McGraw, Big Clue and I were talking about this some time ago. John McGraw, not only a very keen baseball mind, and don't forget, an excellent baseball player. Would have made Hall of Fame as a baseball player. But in there, known as a manager. Managed successfully in the dead ball era, and then in the so-called live ball era. So McGraw, just absolutely phenomenal player. Started playing professional baseball before modern baseball rules. What a great mind, John McGraw. Everybody talks about Sparky Anderson and all these other guys. Well, to me, the greatest manager of all time in baseball is John J. McGraw. There's other guys that are really good, but I think McGraw was the pinnacle of managing. I really do. I know we'll get some arguments about that. A lot of people want to say Billy Martin or whatever, or Casey Stengel. I'm sorry, but I have to agree with Mr. Mack. The nod goes to McGraw. All right, Johnny Kling has singled and walked. No knock on the old professor, that's for sure. Bert Inks deals. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Kling, batting with the bases empty. Fastball chopped to second. Heine reads in plenty of time, fires to Dan Bruthers for out number 1. Jimmy Sheckard 1-for-1 in the day. The left fielders walked and singled. Thank you, cousin. And getting your agreement is huge about John McGraw. So Bernard is asking me, just curious why I don't hit pitch and why I hit the CPU button, because I want the CPU to make the calls all the way. I'm not, so because if I'd be hitting for both teams, that's kind of like, it feels to me like I'm only doing one part of the strategy and not the other. So this way the CPU can decide whether it wants to bunt or what have you. I think that's fair. My way of doing it, that's all. Some people, not him, say Joe Torre. Joe Torre was a great manager, but McGraw's accomplishments, and again being able to adjust to completely different eras in baseball, pre-modern baseball, being an excellent player and understanding the inside game as a player with the Orioles, and then of course he would play, interestingly enough, for Baltimore before he decided his hatred of Ban Johnson drove him back to the National League. His superb managing in the dead ball era of the New York Giants, and then managing into the 1930s, into the Babe Ruth era. So, part of it may be circumstances when he played, when he was born, his career, what have you. But McGraw able to adjust those tactics and put together some scary Giants teams in the post-dead ball era. Just amazing. Joe Torre, I think was an excellent manager. But much like, we look at Babe Ruth, who would have made Hall of Fame as a pitcher and as a position player, which I think makes him arguably the greatest of all time. Granted that the majors weren't integrated until 1947. I think it makes McGraw, who was a great player and a great manager and just brilliant. I don't know. Joe Torre was not. Joe Torre was a good player. John McGraw, look at his numbers. 340 lifetime hitter, nothing to sneeze at there. All right. But again, enough pay-ins to Mr. McGraw. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate them. He'd rather this game get done so he can get off to the racetrack. All right, Bert Inks deals now. The 1-0 delivery. Jimmy Sheckard swings, grounded to third. John McGraw, whom we've been talking about, sets and throws to Dan Bruthers. So 2 down now. The Cubs trying to get that second tally on the board and can't get anybody to first base. Jimmy Schlegel grounded to first, and then in the second, he also grounded out. Johnny Kling scored on that play. The 1-1 pitch now. Curveball, Schlegel swings, and routine grounder to John McGraw. And it's good morning, good afternoon, and good night. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We're knotted at 1. Oh, he definitely would bet on some horses. McGraw was known to actually get himself, especially if it was a game that really didn't mean a lot, would purposely get himself ejected so that he could go to the racetrack and, put down a flutter. All right, Eod Jennings leads it off here in the 6th, here followed by Wilbert Robinson and Heine Reeds. So the Orioles looking for the first victory, down 2-0 here, and in hostile territory in Chicago. So Jennings has struck out and grounded out in reverse order. Robach deals the 0-1. Jennings swings fastball. Little bouncer to first. Frank Chance grabs it and trots to first and wins this race by a nose. So 1 away now. Wilbert Robinson is nothing for 2. He's lined to right and grounded to first. The 1-1 pitch to Wilbert Robinson. Change up. Robinson swings. Base hit past Joe Tinker into left field. Jimmy Sheckard up with it. Wilbert Robinson so beloved that Brooklyn were named the Robins for a time in his honor. The only other player I know of in the major leagues that had that honor was Napoleon Lajoie. If there's anybody else, please do let me know. Their official name was the Brooklyn Robins, just as the Cleveland Naps were the Cleveland Naps. So pretty amazing for these two. Would have been nice if the Pittsburgh Pirates had been the Wagners for a while. I don't think the Detroit team would have ever been the Cubs, however. Anyhow, Heine Reed says fly to right and fly to right and single, fly to center and single to right. Robinson into his leadoff first. Sorry for the stutters, guys. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball. This one popped in the infield. Frank Chance calling for it, waving off Evers and Hoffman, and he will make the catch. Wilbert Robinson, crafty base runner, saw that this was going nowhere and just gingerly gets back to first. So 2 down here for Baltimore. Bert Inks is 1 for 2. Last time up, he singled. We'll be checking these pitchers' lines when we get to the 7th. Rubach checks the runner in the full count now to Bert Inks. This one a little too Harper to short. Harry Steinfeld up with it. This will be close at first, and they do not get Bert Inks. Infield single. So the pitcher helping his own cause, picking up his second base knock of the game. All right, here's Joe Kelly back at the top of the order for Foxy Ned Hanlon's Orioles. Kelly is 0 for 3. Robinson at second. Bert Inks trailing him at first as Robach deals the 2-0 delivery. Fastball swung on this one, hard hit, but back to Ed Robach, on to Frank Chance. Joe Kelly does not get it done. Baltimore leaves 2, and we go to the bottom of the 6th, and we're knotted at 1. Bernard says, today it must be really difficult to manage guys making $20 million a year. Can't even imagine what that would be like. One of the things that I always liked about, there's a real famous, you can check it out on YouTube, I'm sure many remember it. Back when Bonds was with the Pirates, Bonds was getting a little bit prima donna, and you can watch Jim Leyland just ripping him a new one. Leyland was very good at handling Bonds. It was beautiful. But yeah, managing these guys, these days, who knows? Who knows? I think it would have been more fun to manage back in these days, calling hit and runs and double steals and all that kind of stuff. But and you know, your pitcher out there to throw 9. So, but then you guys know where my sentiments are. Still love baseball though, but I always miss these old time things when they're over. They're so unpredictable. All right, Harry Steinfeld has grounded out and singled. Starts it off here for the Cubs in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Steinfeld, Evers, and Tinker. Inks deals the 1-1 pitch. Changeup. This one rolled to short, and Huey Jennings could take a puff of a cigar, a sip of tea, and still would have gotten the runner. So Steinfeld was retired for the first out. Steve Tate says Detroit would have been better as the Heilmans with a mayonnaise mascot. Well done, Steve. Well done, Steve. Harry Heilman. Harry Heilman. There's a forgotten player, except among baseball students of the history of the game. But I wonder how many casual Tigers fans know about Harry Heilman. I would wager not very many. Bernard says that he has much more fun playing dead ball than modern baseball. It's more difficult to manage. Would agree there. It's the same game, but it is different. All right, Johnny Evers is 0 for 2, batting with 1 down. The Crab is grounded to third and to second. You have to throw out sort of modern baseball thinking when you're playing in this era, and always a challenge. Always a challenge. All right, Inks deals. The count even on Evers of 2-2. This one grounded to second. Huey Jennings displaying that amazing range he has out there. Fires on to Dan Bruthers. And that will take care of the Crab. So 2 away here Now, Baltimore looking to set him down 1-2-3. Joe Tinker steps in. He's 0 for 1. He's walked and grounded to first. Aaron, I know I said we wanted to get you on this week. It's just my work schedule coupled with and it's amazing. It's awesome the amount of people broadcasting. There's a couple times I wanted to broadcast, but a few other guys would be on, and if they're doing baseball, I don't broadcast at the same time. So we will get you there, man. Hopefully, maybe I'll do a game tomorrow in out of the park baseball, and we'll play with your 1990 Reds against somebody or other. I have no idea whom yet. All right, Tinker batting with 2 down. Joe is 0 for 1, grounded to first. Back in the fourth, his last time up. Bert Inks, the southpaw, deals. Tinker swinging on the first pitch. What a stop by Huey Jennings, flashing the leather, but the bad throw. Dan Bruther's able to get the ball on the bounce, but that's going to be an error after a great play by Huey Jennings. Dan Bruther's able to just hold on to the horsehide. Joe Tinker aboard, thanks to the E6. And here's Ed Rollbach. So both pitchers are hitting today. Rollbach is 1 for 2. Inks is 2 for 3. Big Ed lined to single back in the fourth. Tinker aggressive leadoff second. Joe pilfered 20 for Frank Chance and the Cubbies in 1907. Inks throws over. Tinker dives back, and he is safe on a close call. Inks deals the 0-2 now. And Rollbach grounded to Huey Jennings, who will go to Heine Reitz to retire the Chicago Cubs. We go to the seventh. This game still 1-1. Looking at the line now for Ed Rollbach. He's worked 6 innings thus far, 8 hits, only 1 earned run, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. He will face John McGraw, Dan Bruthers, and Wee Willie Keeler, the heart of this Baltimore Orioles lineup. Again, a great book to read about this team. It's called Where They Ain't. Absolutely superb reading. Highly recommend it. You know, you can be a fan of modern baseball and still read about this game's great history, and Where They Ain't is a fantastic one. For the other side, even though we're playing 1907, I cannot highly, not recommend enough highly, is Crazy 08. So, and you'll be reading a lot of the same players that are in this, our World Series here in this KCCL tournament. So that's Where They Ain't and Crazy 08. Ed Rollbach now to deal to John McGraw. Here's the 1-2 pitch to McGraw. Fastball. And John McGraw looks at a called strike 3 on the inside corner. So 1 down, that's the 4th K issued by Big Ed. And here comes Dan Bruthers. Speaking of big player, Dan Bruthers. Bruthers 2 for 3 in the game, 2 singles, and he whiffed. The 0-1 twirled in from Rollbach. Bruther swings on this fastball. Evers to Chance to retire Bruthers for out number 2. And Wee Willie Keeler strides to the plate. The man responsible for the foul strike rule in baseball. He was hit by a pitch and grounded out twice. Rollbach brings it, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball swung on. This one lined right to Ed Rollbach. Middle of the 7th, we are knotted at 1. All right, welcome back. Steve Tate asking for some recommendations for some non-sports PC games. I got a few of those coming up on the channel there, Steve. Diablo 4 is getting finally a patch that's going to make the game fun again. So that would be one. I'm back to playing Wilson. Really loving that game. The combat feels so nice in that. It's not perfect yet. But yeah, I have some other sort of things I'm going to be playing on the channel here soon. An extremely deep game called Aeronorth Chronicles. So It's a combination of a like a TCG, if you will, and an RPG. It's a super, super deep game. Yeah, so those will be coming up. Gordian Quest is one I highly, highly recommend. Beautiful artwork, Gordian Quest. Of course, King Arthur: A Knight's Tale is brilliant. Just make sure you got hard drive space. It's a 150 gig footprint for that game, but it's massive, and it's also cool. Also in that vein, Conquest of Avalon, which I will be showing on the channel. Conquest of Avalon. Both of these games are related. The King Arthur tale is kind of dark anyhow, but these are very, very dark takes on the King Arthur legend. Conquest of Avalon. Now there's a first-person one. I'm talking about the one that plays more like a card roguelike, and it's amazing. So look for those and more coming up on the channel soon. So maybe when there's baseball going on, I'll do some non-baseball stuff. All right. Here's Frank Chance now to lead it off. First, let's look at Bert Inks here. His pitching line, he has worked 6, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks. Bert Inks into his windup, and the 0-1 pitch, spitball, Frank Chance liner, right to Heine Reese, spears that one out of the air. So 1 away here for the Chicago Cubs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Sully Hoffman now. Welcome in Clinton Park. Sully Hoffman has grounded out 3 times, so the right fielder a little bit frustrated. And in honor of Ken Castro, who'll say he's wearing the collar. Bert Inks deals the 0-1 pitch. Curveball. Hoffman swings, fouls this one on the right-hand side. Count 0-2 on Hoffman. Here is the delivery by Inks. Hoffman swings, base hit left center field. Steve Brody fires it in to Huey Jennings, so Hoffman will hold with a single, 1 down. Johnny Kling 1 for 2, including a walk. Inks brings it home, the 0-1 to Johnny Kling. Fastball, Hoffman was on the move, base hit to left, Joe Kelly up with it. The hit and run was on, Hoffman rounds second, and he will make third easily. So runners at the corners for the West Siders. Hoffman 90 feet away at third, Johnny Kling at first. For Jimmy Sheckard, left fielder 1 for 2, had a single back in the 3rd inning. Last time up, Jimmy grounded to third. Bert Inks throws over, Johnny Kling throws back. Appreciate the viewership tonight. Again, realizing this is very niche, and for a lot of people in the YouTube sports gaming community, a lot of these players, you may never heard of. So thank you for hanging out and sort of in a nice way letting these players play again who really built the foundations of our beloved game. Jimmy Sheckard is 1 for 2. Here we go from the stretch in the 3-1 to Sheckard. Curveball, and curveball misses. Bert Inks now in trouble. He had the bases loaded one other time in the game and got out of it. Looking to do so again. Looking to induce a double play from Jimmy Schlegel, and it could happen. Schlegel is 0 for 3. He is grounded all 3 times, but has an RBI. That was back in the 3rd. Inks from the stretch. Robinson, a quick word with him, now back behind the plate. Here's the 1-1 to Jimmy Schlegel. Schlegel, bouncer to second. Reitz will go to Jennings, but Jimmy Sheckard, a hard slide, and Jennings having to leap over him, and that throw not getting to Dan Bruthers in time. And the Cubs capitalize and pick up run number 2 in the bottom of the 7th. The Cubs now leading 2-1. Johnny Kling at third, Jimmy Schlegel at first. Harry Steinfeld now. Steinfeld 1 for 3, singled back in the 3rd, grounded to short his last time up. Inks works out of the stretch, and the 1-2 curveball swung on, hard ground ball to first. Dan Bruthers will take it to the bag himself. So Chicago could have done a lot more as they leave 2 in scoring position. We've played 7 at Westside Park in Chicago, and it's the Cubs 2, the Orioles 1. Tex Ags coming in, welcome in. So Tex, this is your, at least your 4th time in here, so we can do something here that's pretty much common. what am I trying to say here? Custom. But he says, nice, glad to check the channel. Beginning to get familiar with these players. Started watching Ken Burns' History of Baseball again in these early years. Actually, I can identify with them now. It's great to hear, Tex Zags. Thank you very much. So Tex, this is, you want to talk about projects, provide some links to stuff. So you've got a blue wrench here. So you're a moderator now, and that's just my way of saying thank you for kind of being loyal to the channel and checking things out. And there we go. And yes, it counts, Robert. Since we have to get back to where we once belonged, that counts. Robert, sorry I missed your game. I'll catch you on the flip side. But guys, speaking of games, this is one. I'm going to take a quick time out here for this one. As we're 57 minutes in. This game's almost over anyhow. Epic game that took place over 2 days. It almost reminded me of W.P. Kinsella's great book, The Iowa Baseball Confederacy. And this is referring to a game on RGL Network's channel. And it's a baseball game that kind of takes place all through time and whatever. So Robert, the other night, started a game between, and this is his 2016 replay, and this game is between the San Francisco Giants and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm not going to tell you anything about the game. I'm not going to spoil it. I think it could be definitely a contender for Game of the Year on Robert's channel. Anyhow, they got some bad storms moving in down in the Sunshine State there. So I came in just as the stream kind of went, kaboom. Waiting, and thought, okay, I'll catch the rest of it. And the next night, and just amazing things happened. So if you haven't checked out that game between the Pirates and the Giants, do so. It's on Inside Pitch 2016 season replay done by Robert, and you can hear the stadium groan and cheer, and it's a fantastic game. It's a game W.P. Kinsella probably would have written as a great piece of fiction. It was really that good. How about it? Yep, Texags also saying, yes, that was Game of the Year. It might even be safe to say it already is, and I know there's a long way to go now. I believe Robert is in June in that 2016 replay. So a ways to go, but holy hell, what a game. So check it out on the RGO Network, guys. All right, Mark Roberts. Thank you, my friend. I haven't been on for a while. I see Mark has changed. His used to have a Dodgers avatar. So Mark, thank you. I haven't been on that much, my friend. Just with everybody else broadcasting and all that kind of stuff. I've been kind of just kicking back and catching everybody else, and it's been fun. Welcome in to my good friend Christopher Slovic. He's back in Islamabad, and I'm assuming that the Creators Cup 2 series has continued. A master class on how to set up, I say it every time he comes in here, how to set up a tournament and out-of-the-park baseball. It's Christopher Slovic's channel. Check it out. Sounds like you're listening to a real baseball game. But do check out that game on Robert's Network. Giants, Pirates, man. A game that took 2 days to finish, and I don't want to give you any background about the game itself. It was just amazing. Oh, my God. I will say this one thing. Robert was going to do a doubleheader because he was going to finish off that game. And he said, well, guys, after this, I'm not doing a doubleheader. And when you see the game, and watch both broadcasts. Watch both broadcasts. If you just catch it, the second one, you're missing out on so much. You've got, just set aside some time and watch it. It's 2 hours of your time. And well worth it. All right. Steve Brody here will lead it off here in the top of the 8th inning. It's going to be Steve Brody followed by Huey Jennings and Wilbert Robinson. So Brody in the game with an RBI way back in the first, scoring Dan Bruthers, and then he's grounded out twice. He was, however, he grounded out twice. All right, here's the 1-2 pitch now to Steve Brody. Curveball swung on. This one just a little grounder up the first base line. Frank Chance will take it to the bag unassisted. 1 up, 1 down now. Huey Jennings. Jennings has grounded out twice and struck out. Grounded out his last time up. Robach pitching with one down, bases empty, and a 2-1 lead. The 0-1 twirl, fastball, and this one, line to center field. Jimmy Schlegel comes in and makes the catch. Or I should say the play, and fires on to shortstop Joe Tinker. So Huey Jennings aboard. Jennings with 37 steals in 1894. Jennings with his leadoff first. Jennings would go on to coach the Detroit Tigers. Robach with the 1-0 delivery to Wilbert Robinson. Infield look and bunt. There goes Jennings. And this one up the middle, but Joe Tinker, full extension, stop, makes the play and able to retire Wilbert Robinson. What a play by Joe Tinker at shortstop. So Jennings, no chance to get two. So Jennings in scoring position at second represents the tying run for Baltimore. But what a great play by Joe Tinker. All right, Heine Reitz now. Reitz is flied out, singled, and popped out. Robach deals the count full to Heine Reitz, and this one a called strike 3. And Baltimore is turned away. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Chicago on the verge of taking a 3-0 lead in this World Series. The score 2-1. Johnny Evers, Joe Tinker, and Ed Robach. So Bert Inks has walked 4. And one bases loaded situation, was able to get out of it, and the other one only surrendering 1 run. So this could be a lot worse. And errors not playing a huge part in this game. 2 for the Orioles and 1 for the Cubs. Inks deals to Johnny Evers. The 0-2 count. Spitball. This one sent to shallow center. Steve Brody going after that sinking liner and will glove it for out number 1. Joe Tinker is 0 for 2 in a walk. He was safe in a throwing error back in the 5th. Bert Inks with a 1-1. Fastball. Comebacker to the mound. Inks quickly on it and on to Dan Bruthers to retire the fleet-footed shortstop. So 2 away now for Ed Robach. Robach has himself a single, so 1 for 2, or 1 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 3. You pick. The 1-1 pitch to Robach, fly ball, left field, back toward the crowd is Joe Kelly. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. We go to the 9th. Baltimore needs to tie it up here, try to stay alive, or they fall 3-0. We are now 1 hour and 4 minutes into this game. And Bert Inks on the day has 2 singles, so he is 2 for 3. See, Baltimore allows him to bat. Ed Robach with some gas in the tank. Good for some more pitches. We don't worry about pitch counts in this era. Robach. Nope, and we have Frank Bonner coming into pinch hit. Fly ball to shallow left. And ranging in on it is left fielder Jimmy Sheckard. So Inks is done. No need to look at Frank Bonner's numbers unless this would happen to go to extras. All right, Joe Kelly. Not a good day for the Hall of Famer. He is 0 for 4, grounded out 3 times and struck out. Big Ed Robach has the sign from Johnny Kling. The wind and the 2-0 pitch, fastball. This one, bounding ball to second. Evers playing it on the hop, fires on to Chance for out number 2. And it's up to John McGraw to try to keep things alive here, or Chicago takes a 3-0 lead. Last time up, Little Napoleon struck out. Robach with a 3-2 pitch to McGraw. And McGraw draws the walk on the full count. So good eye up there by McGraw as my cats are play fighting over there. That was beautiful. All right. So McGraw, 78 steals, as we said, in 1894. And here comes Dan Bruthers, 2 for 4. Best chance for the Orioles to get something done. Here it comes. Ed Robach throws over. John McGraw dives back ahead of Frank Chance's tag. Kling sets the target. Robach throws over again. John McGraw not going anywhere. McGraw, though, now into an aggressive lead, almost taunting Big Ed Robach. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Dan Bruthers. Bruthers swings. This should do it. Fly ball to right. Huffman back on it. squeezes it for the final out of the game. And the Chicago Cubs take this one from the Baltimore Orioles. Let's look at our game recap. So the Chicago Cubs now with a 3-0 lead over the Orioles. And I want to comment about these Orioles in a minute because of a comment that somebody made a few days ago that I thought was really weird. Anyhow, Ed Robach improves to 3-0 in the KCCL tournament. Bert Inks falls to 2-1. For the 1907 Chicago Cubs, 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. For the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 1 run, 9 hit, and 2 errors. Let's look at the only real highlight for the Cubs. Johnny Kling went 2 for 3. So low-scoring game, excellent baseball game all the way around. Let's look at pitching. For the victorious Ed Robach, 9 innings full, 9 hits, 1 earned run, walked 2, struck out 5, an ERA of 1.00. Bert Inks, in a losing cause, went 8 innings, 2 earned runs, and walked 4. Didn't strike anybody out. Let's look at our miscellaneous. Again, not a lot to talk about. Not even a stolen base or a caught stealing in this game. Baltimore stranded 11, Chicago stranded 10. 3 total errors in this game, 2 by the Orioles, 1 by the Cubs. Jimmy Schlegel gets credited with the game-winning RBI, and Ed Robach gets the MVP. That's pretty much it. So I wanted to make a comment. Somebody wrote that that the lineup for that Orioles team is so bad and blah blah blah, and how'd they get that far? And I just didn't answer. So I'm not sure, cousin, as I usually can asking if the game will pick a tournament MVP. I've only ever done tournaments in out of the park baseball, so I have no idea what it's going to do. Should be interesting. So cousin Ken says sweep sweep. Well, when next we're on, and it could be tomorrow afternoon. We may just finish this up tomorrow, sometime during the day. So right now the Cubs on the verge of sweeping the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, but this team nothing to sneeze at, and especially go back to that round 2 and that crazy battle where they finally do win 3 games to 2 of the 1885 White Stockings, and then their series against the Providence Grays. So facing 19th century teams all the way through, but this was a great baseball team. And the person making the comment definitely coming from somewhere or another. So this has been a great tournament, a great, I'd like to see Baltimore come back just so it lasts longer, because I do have a dead ball 19th century thing, but it's not going to be ready for a little while yet, unfortunately. So we're coming down to the end of this, and then it's back to just some sundry projects, including returning to 1934, which is also a fun time in the baseball. So the Insane League starts Monday. My Insane League tournament. So I haven't heard anything about it, man. I haven't heard anything about it, Christopher. I'm dying to know what it is. So looking forward, guys. So who has a game coming up next? What's going on, so that I'm not staying on here too long? Let me check the YouTubes here for you and let you know who's on right now, if anybody. Well, I am. Bernard did one 2 hours ago, which I'm going to be. I am so much catching up on baseball. So on everybody else's baseball. So it's been a lot of fun, guys, and I'm glad everybody's really active now and doing a lot of broadcasting. I'll go insane. Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm already insane, but why not? Okay, here's the only hint he's going to give me. It's the appropriate time of the year for this kind of tournament. Oh my God, really? Geez, that really helps, Christopher. God, all right. I will wait for this to start from your august self, if you don't mind the very bad play on words. Steve Tate says, thought about broadcasting a tournament with your 5-year baseball files. Would that be, oh my God, that would be quite a project in itself. So I don't even know how many teams can you do. Can you do as many in a tournament in this as you can in out of the park baseball? But even so, Good God, Steve. Whoa. So yeah, you can do what 120 teams in a league in this, but wow, that would be nuts. So Aaron Reed has a date tomorrow. Good, Robert. Thank you for hanging out to the end. So letting us know, um, Inside Pitch 2016 season. So it will be in game time. It will be 2nd July 2016. The Texas Rangers at the Minnesota Twins. So that's going to be Sunday night. So Robert not broadcasting tomorrow. So check in. So guys, tomorrow night, if you're used to the time, you come on to watch Robert every night. Do watch both parts of that Giants Pirates game. Oh my God, it's mind blowing. Should mention that the 2016 All Star Game from Petco Park also next week. Good, good, good. Yeah, Steve Tate says maybe Aaron can help Robbie find a girlfriend. Huh. Steve, you should do something with the 5-year files in a tournament. I know that all I've ever done with them on here is just played some exhibitions and, of course, our head-to-head matches, which once you return to baseball, I'd like to continue and play another game. So that would be fun. As Aaron Reed says, fabulous crack. So my Pirates beating the Brewers in the 8th. You mean now, tonight? Really? We're like doing something lately these days. Again, I know we're still where we are, but we'll take it. Yeah, 8-4. All right, go Bucks. Go Bucks. And we are into August. Neil Cruz hopefully coming back soon. Yeah, how about it? Go Bucks. All right. Hey, we moved out of the cellar too, so I guess we'll take that. All right, Buccos, go for it. All right, back to the channel. No, pretty short. Dan Burke, hey, what's going on? No, Steve, the last game I did, I was actually off in under an hour, so I don't stay on long anymore unless I'm doing a doubleheader. But I do like to catch up with the chat for a few minutes. I don't like to just rush away. So, Robbie needs to do some time on 14th Street in D.C. How about it? Or the way Liberty Avenue used to be in Pittsburgh. So, Steve, why don't you do a game, like a baseball game? Why not? You should, man. It's early. Nobody else is broadcasting that I can see. Everybody thinking Bob Uecker's dead. He's far from it. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Dan Burke, good to see you. As always, Dan, one of my fellow fans of Baseball for Windows. What an excellent game that is. So we got to cajole Steve back into baseball. All right, thank you guys. Everybody have a great night, says PQ River. And on that note, let me say thank you to everybody at PQ River, Aaron Reed. Check out that channel, Tex Ag 75. Yep, David Baseball Demos. Okay, he'll be on the next 2 days, nights as well. Tomorrow, of course, will be his NBC Game of the Week. So David doing Inside Pitch. David does all kinds of stuff. History Maker Baseball. He kind of jumps around all over the place on cards and dice games the way I do on digital games. Of course, Legends Sports Universe. That American League Championship Series on his channel. Getting really interesting. Ken Castro says at the Bats All-Star break, he'll put out a ballot for guys in the chat to vote. Would love to do that, Ken. Let me know when that is. If you could message me on Facebook maybe a day or two beforehand, maybe we'll just have a baseball chat night. Let Diamond Mine Baseball just play in the background, and we get a bunch of folks in here. Do some all-star balloting. I think that would be fun. Yeah, you put out a ballot in the channel. We can do it here too. It's been a while since we've just had a good old-fashioned baseball chat that's degenerated into gangster talk and everything else. So with that in mind, yeah. So for those of you not aware, the bats that Cousin Ken is talking about, that's an APA set that is pre-expansion. It's the original 16, and it's awesome. Cousin Ken sent me the PDF, since I don't do cards and dice, but I do have APA Baseball for Windows. I do have the expanded version of that, but I'm really thinking about bringing that into Baseball for Windows at some point and playing with it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So Dan Burke just got done playing some Diamond Mine, the '84 season. So Coolio Corn says Cousin Ken. I so love Diamond Mine baseball. I love it. I love it. I love it. And all this talking I'm doing with you guys, I could just be easily doing a Diamond Mine game and reading off the play-by-play. But I'm still trying to figure out a way to make Diamond Mine work. Maybe that's cheating and having a crowd noise in the back. I have no idea. Yep, love the Arnie Harwell announcing. Yep, definitely play-by-play. It's so much fun. The biggest thing, says Cousin Ken, in that tournament that he's doing, or that season that he's doing, I should say, the biggest thing is deciding on daily lineups. Yeah, how about it? You can't press a button and have a computer do it. So Steve Tate, when he comes out of his F-ball heresy, I challenge him to a head-to-head game sometime, hopefully this weekend. So we'll see. But for you F-ball fans, he did something about, I didn't watch it, Steve, no offense, but you know how I feel about F-ball, but did something, I watched, like, I was there like for a minute last night, and was, I will say this, I'm sure it was a great video, and I know, you know, Steve, you know, doing a lot for that heretical game as well, but geez, compared to this game, it seems like that the Action PC F-ball in terms of presentation is kind of the ginger-headed stepchild. And I know Al's talked about it before too. They really need to improve that game. It's just, I don't know, just its presentation not the best. Maybe it doesn't lend itself, again, you know, one F-ball field looks like another F-ball field like another one, so maybe there's really not a lot you can do about it. But do check it out, and check out Steve Tate's channel, and beg him to come back to baseball. Damn it, it's where he belongs. For which game? Oh, Action PC F-ball. Action PC F-ball. Somebody can type it in chat. I try not to swear on my channel. So it's the game played in America with the funny shaped thing that calls itself a ball that isn't, and 22 people fall all over each other, and they say it's such a rough sport they can only have one game, and hockey players say hold my beer. That one. That game which I loathe. Ugh. You know, Steve or Legends, these guys do basketball games. I'll watch basketball. I'll do boxing, what have you. And occasionally, if they're doing F-ball, I'll drop in and say, just leaving a like. And Al, Red Sox fan, is always gracious. He says, oh, thanks for coming by, Beatles. We know you hate F-ball, but thanks, buddy, for the like. So, yeah. Clinton could always go to... yeah. You're right. I'd rather not, though. Oh, hockey players are way tougher. F-ball. I asked some friends of mine that are F-ball fans. I'm like, okay, so why do you guys only have one game to decide? Well, 'cause football's really tough there. I just swore. It's such a tough and grueling game. And I'm like, tell that to a hockey player, you know. But whatever. It's all about the commercials. And there you go. But I guess if you folks that are F-ball fans, is this not F-ball season or preseason or something like that? I don't know. Something going on over there on that side of the world. So yeah, hockey players, man. And hockey players, like baseball players, right? They've got to be able to do more than just one thing, right? You know, you got to be a good skater and all that kind of stuff. And game requires stamina, strength, speed. Superior game to F-ball in every respect. Sorry, F-ball fans, but y'all can have it. Oh my God. Bobby Bond played the final of the 1967 Stanley Cup with a broken leg. Exactly. So yeah, Clinton talking about pure. Now, when you're talking about footy, Clinton, it's okay to use that term. You can actually say football if you're talking about footy. You're talking about soccer. That's fine because like the ball's round and stuff like that. So anyhow, don't know where our Robbie Wartburg is. I'm guessing the Rangers are at home tonight, so hopefully he's doing well. Aaron Reed, have fun on your date. And, you know, what else can I say? Have fun and don't name it after me. Thank you to Clinton Park's cousin Ken Castro, so our professor and the heart and soul of this channel. To Dan Burke. Dan, I'm going to have a Baseball for Windows game coming up pretty soon. Yeah, with all the money Robbie's making. Yeah. Oh, one more. So, oh my God. Wow, really? Matthew you have to pardon me. I'm terrible with Eastern European names. Chachuk played a hockey game, a playoff game with a broken sternum. Yeesh. You could get a decent price escort. I don't know how well the Rangers pay, cousin. I really do. You know, so that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I could. I've been still doing my artwork. I'll have to show you the latest Dream Babe I made for Robbie. She's well kitted out in a black leather black leather jacket, all this kind of stuff. So, see if she gets Robbie's seal of approval. I was gonna have her smoking like a long stem cigarette, but yeah. If you had $2,000, you'd get one yourself. Wouldn't we all? Tex Ag says he's playing the 1919 World Series in Out of the Park 24. The White Sox are currently up 4-1 over the Reds. A lot of fun. So you just got Out of the Park 24 last week. How are you liking it? How are you liking the game overall, Tex Ags? Yes, Steve. I know it's a long goodbye, but people keep saying cool things, and I can't leave because people say cool things. How do you like the game? I love Out of the Park baseball. I love it, love it, love it. Curious what you think of it. One of my there's like I play a lot of digital baseball sims, but my 4 are Action PC Baseball and Out of the Park 24, or Out of the Park series, I should say, and then of course Baseball for Windows and Diamond Mine. You really like the graphics, and you have it on Steam. Good, so that means you've got that. Right, that Stadium mod. There he is. Legends, you doing a game tonight? Yeah, getting all the add-ons it's really easy on Steam. I like to support the developers, but that Steam Workshop integration for Out of the Park is just brilliant, and that's why I just don't buy it from the developers anymore. But I support them by buying Out of the Park Go, which finally is much, much improved this year. It's still optimized like crap, but if you want some baseball on the go, you get 3 seasons for free. The game is for free. If you want to buy all the baseball from 1901 to the present season, Out of the Park Go for Android or your phone or iPhone and iPad and all that stuff, costs you $20 and you get everything. It's not as, you can't do a lot of the stuff that you can do in Out of the Park, but you got your tablet with you and you want to play some ball, you can't really go wrong with Out of the Park Go. So, manually input the scoring. Yeah, use Replay PC for that. Yeah, I don't see that Out of the Park is ever gonna. They're strictly digital, and I don't think they're gonna ever go that route. I think they're trying to be the baseball text sim version of MLB The Show. I really think that's where Marcus and Matt and company are going with Out of the Park, and more power to them. It is a brilliant game. Brilliant game. So, Legends, are you doing a game tonight? Because that American League Championship Series is certainly interesting. What you got coming up tonight, tomorrow, whenever? Let us know. It's part of the reasons why you guys got wrenches in here. Pimp your channel. It's all good. I like people to do that. I encourage it. Talk about your stuff you're doing offline. Doesn't matter. I want to know. It's community. It's not just about those of us who create content. It's everybody. So, don't know what else. I'm holding off doing some any until Legends is done. Not that I'm trying to compete with him or anything, because but I figure he's doing MLB The Show now in his postseason, and I don't want to just put up a game up there. So holding off on that. It's like I want to do more baseball, so probably be baseball for Windows. But tomorrow, if any of you can make it, it's going to be sometime afternoon. Hopefully, maybe about 1, 2 in the afternoon. It will be these two teams meeting up again. The 1907 Chicago Cubs looking for the sweep of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, thus closing down the KCCL tournament. Johnny, we hardly knew you. To quote a great song from the Dropkick Murphys. All right, nobody said anything cool. We'll start our goodbyes again. Tex Ags, our newest moderator. Thank you. Legend Sports Universe. I guess if he's going to play a game tonight, just look for that notification. Cousin Ken Castro, Dan Burke, Clinton Parks, Aaron Reed, have fun with that date. PQ River, Steve Tate, come back to baseball. RJL Network, thank you, Robert. Christopher Slovak, who is teasing me with something amazing coming up on his channel. I have to keep a lookout for that one. Mark Roberts, man, missed you around here. But again, I haven't been around here either. So Bernard Strom was in here. Make sure to check out his replays, 1912 Red Sox in Action PC Baseball and 1950 Red Sox in PC Replay Baseball. So all good stuff. John DFW hung out with us for a little bit. Big JH99, all kinds of great trivia that he brought us in today, especially a lot of Cubs, but also with some Giants trivia, just some good old time baseball trivia all the way around. Really, really appreciate that, and hope you'll come back. And again, Big JH, Dwayne Martz was in. Check out that 1961, mainly focusing, it looks like, on the Braves Yankees replay using APA and with Digital Diamond Baseball. So good stuff. Digital Diamond, which I've done nothing on the channel with this year. And who was first tonight? Ken Castro. So he wins the Robbie Wartburg bobblehead doll. Yeah, I haven't done much with Digital Diamond Baseball because I think it's really, it's gotten so much exposure, and it doesn't make sense to me to play it as a pure digital sim. So, but a lot of guys are having fun with it, and I have it, and some night I'm going to fire it up and play it. So. All right, always, 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 you guys, yeah, you're most welcome. So tomorrow, Chicago Cubs, Baltimore Orioles. I'll try to get it done after baseball, David baseball demos, and around everybody else. Like to finish it up tomorrow and say a tearful goodbye to another great dead ball and 19th century project. Until then. Live baseball, love it, breathe it, digital it, cards and dice it, pick your own lineups, let the computer pick it. Whatever it is, it's all about baseball. Read baseball again, 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 again. This is the long goodbye. Where They Ain't, story of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles and crazy '08, story of possibly the greatest baseball season of all time. So some guys are starting to kind of get into old time baseball, and those are two great, great books. All right. Thank you, Tex, and thank you for coming in. And until the next time, guys, see you around the batting cage. Good night. Be safe. Have fun.